Oh, we can look at this now. Or is this just going to be the exact same thing we just saw?
In Serenia, the memory chamber
No.
stores our memories so that future generations can still visit us and dream. Empty globes for storing our memories are formed underwater, and we gather them using the...
Okay. Yep. I literally just heard you say it, so it's fine. We need to remember that. We can go click that again. Alright, we haven't been this way. Looks like an area that's supposed to be a waterfall that does not currently have water going through it.
You mean you have to signal somebody every time you want to go home? Why don't you just sleep here?
Because we have families too, you know. And the ones who are still alive sleep in the village.
Alright. Presumably the village. Looks like something blew up in that room.
Wait, please. Listen to me. Okay. It doesn't look good. I admit it, but it's not what you think. I'm just taking it for a little while. Borrowing it, so to speak. It's the plan. Cyrus's plan. He's got Yisha. I just want to stop him. He's a nutcase. He's here. And don't let Father come here, or you'll screw up everything. Find my journal. The one from 20 years ago. Cyrus doesn't even know that I kept one. I hid it in a stone pillar in the forest near where two rivers are crossing. It'll explain everything. Cyrus is mad. He's gonna kill Father. And I've got to stop him.
Okay. Oh, we can't even go.
Wait, please. Listen to me.
I should have known. Bleh. Okay. Well, I guess we're going this way. It does seem like Simple enough. We remember this. I don't know if we want to do it yet. Obviously, being locked down for something. So, for now, we let that lie. Let's presume this is said chamber. It's apparently still dream-in time. Well, it'd be rude to wake anyone. So we'll come back to that one. Okay. Interesting. Pretty sure this is where we started the third game. Yeah, this is... Yep. Oh, Brad Dourif, how we miss you. They wouldn't give me the same thing twice, would they?
Atrus, I thought you were going to redesign this room, but it looks just like it did before the fire.
Not just like it did, my love. Look, the table is different.
Okay, so this gets us back. Oh, it's reading time. Time for reading.
The first time I placed my hand on Serenia's linking panel, I remember thinking, this age will be unlike any I've journeyed to so far. And it was. The sky was crisp and clear. The rivers and waterfalls sparkled like diamonds. Even the worn paths threading through the canopies of stone took my breath away. I met a group of women who told me they had been expecting me, and as we talked late into the evening, they did seem to know a lot about me. Yet the more they explained why, the more impossible this story seemed. Of course, Catherine's ages have always struck me as impossible. Why should this one have been different? One of the stories the Protectors told me, that is what they called themselves, moves me to this day. Many lifetimes ago, a child from the village contracted a fever and died. His parents, who had loved him very much, decided to bury him under a waterfall and built a balloon to take him there. The parents' grief was so strong, however, that when they landed their balloon, they could only carry the child a short way. So they set him down beside a giant flower and slept. All night, the mother's tears never stopped flowing. Eventually, they sank through the ground and bathed the flower's roots. Moved by the tears, the flower told the parents to carry their child into her epistle. She would preserve his memories so they could visit him whenever they wished. Then the flower passed one of the tears back through her roots, turning it into a container to hold memories, and the father dove underwater to collect it. And that is how the memory chamber first displayed her power to the Serenians. Having read Catherine's descriptive book, I realized that the plant the protectors called the memory chamber is but the fruiting body of a massive fungus. Like any fungus, it recycles dead organic material into nutrients. In this case, filled memory globes. Since Yisha has recently asked to see Serenia, I will share this explanation with her, as I did her brothers when they were her age. Yet I cannot help thinking that my scientific understanding of Serenia's pales in comparison to the Protector's simple tale.
Maybe.
I had not fully realized how many years have passed since I visited this age. So when I stepped out of the linking cave with Yisha, I was pleased to see only a little has changed. A new group of women have replaced the Protectors I knew, but they seemed to be as friendly as the first. Yisha took an immediate liking to the one called Anya, and as we made our plans to spend more time here in the future, I felt confident our relationship with these women would be mutually beneficial. After an absence of several weeks, we returned to Serenia last night. Catherine agreed to accompany us, so we will stay for a week or more. This morning, I took advantage of Catherine's presence to re-explore alone. My route soon took me beyond Serenia's current memory chamber to the old abandoned flower which had served the village centuries ago. The man-made edifice surrounding the chamber looked much the same as I remembered, although the flower itself was in far worse state of decay. I tried opening the door to explore inside, but found it locked. Just as well. 30 years ago, the Protectors told me how the delicate inner heart of the chamber emits a strong fragrance as part of its reproductive cycle. The closer the chamber gets to maturation, the more toxic this gas becomes, forcing the Protectors to find a new flower for their use. No doubt the collected fumes inside the original chamber would have made it impossible for me to survive there very long. Catherine says I should have seen it coming, but this morning, Yisha asked permission to meet Serenia's ancestors. I tried to explain that the place the Protectors called Dream is not real. How can it be? But she insists on finding out for herself. So what am I to do? I suppose it will do no harm to let her try. From what Anya told me, it should take several months for Yisha to learn how to dream. It has certainly been a while since I've had enough free time to concentrate on the crystal viewer's attachment. Keeping my inquisitive daughter occupied may end up being beneficial for us all. I cannot believe how quickly time has flown. Today we attended a ceremony on Serenia's celebrating Yisha's mastery of their customs. I must admit, although my doubts about the dream realm remain, seeing my daughter's pride as she received the Protector's necklace made it all seem worthwhile. Yisha said something strange during our writing lesson today. She thought it was sad that Catherine rarely writes anymore, and asked if we should explain that just because someone dies after visiting an age doesn't mean the age's writer is responsible. I knew immediately she was talking about my grandmother. Yet Catherine and I have never fully described Anna's death, so how she knew this information is a mystery. When I asked, she said her necklace had said something while she was holding Anna's picture. The answer was completely unsatisfactory. Yet I must admit, Yisha had displayed an uncanny knowledge of things she never witnessed ever since receiving the Protector's gift. I'd like to examine this necklace more closely, but at the moment the situation with Cirrus and Achenar takes precedence. Perhaps after my friend leaves us tomorrow.
Didn't know I was holding you up. Okay.
For 20 years, I've harbored a secret. People talk about my sons and the evil things they did. Yet still I remain strangely mute. I do not discuss my own actions that day, or the rage I felt when I burned the 2 linking books that had snared them. Some people believe my sons died in those fires, but the truth is, they did not. You're the only one I can confide in, my friend. So I'm asking you to come to Tamana. There are things I must tell you about my sons.
Well, that is basically the line we heard, or I heard in the opening. Which, again, you know, everyone believing that you may well have killed your kids is, you know, not a great look. Okay, what's over here? So we came in here. Ah, I know where we are.
I linked to Haven yesterday. The smell of its beach washed over me long before my vision cleared. With the veil of haze slowly lifting from my eyes, I forced myself to breathe very deeply. I had not told Atrus I was doing this. He would have argued with me and told me again how dangerous it is to visit the prison ages before Tamana's linking chamber is built. But construction takes time, and I could no longer wait for him. The sight of the shipwreck rising out of the sea filled me with unexpected dread. Of course, I'd known it would be there. I'd seen it countless times in Atrus's viewer. But seeing it for real through slanted metal bars made me realize exactly what we'd done. I imagined the words my son would throw at me, and courage drained, away like summer wine. I did not try to signal him. I feel nothing but numbness now. It was my idea to write the chambers into existence, to bend the arts so that a secure room might be inserted in each age, with solid walls no force of man might break. Only then could we risk visiting our sons and leaving a Tamana linking book behind us when we left. It took me months to convince Atrus this could work. But now that the chambers exist, and I will speak to my sons for the first time in years, I find myself not knowing what to say. How will I explain our decision to leave them prisoners? If hardship and isolation have not caused them to repent, as was our hope, what words will soothe the anger in their souls? Weeks have passed, and still I have not found the courage to link again. Perhaps it is just as well. Atrus was not pleased when he learned what I had done. He begged me to have more patience, then put extra pressure on the Guild of Stonemasons to finish. Today they informed us that Tamana's chamber will be ready in 2 days. Had we been able to use the art to create it as we did with the ones in the prison ages, it would have already been finished. But things always take longer to build when you must do it by hand. Now Atrus is looking forward to having
How dare
our
you not
bedroom
be able to
back.
magic shit.
I
Sorry.
should be too, but I keep wondering how I will be able to sleep there, knowing our sons are just a wall away. I worry how they'll act when they greet us, how different they will be from the laughing boys I remember playing with toy boats in Mist's reflection pool. They were happy then. We all were happy. Anna was still with us, and the love we shared as a family knew no bounds. Then Anna died, and our cozy world unraveled. To deal with the loss of his grandmother, Atrus buried himself in work, spending less and less time with our sons. At 8 years old, Cirrus must have seen this as rejection. But even then his pride was too well formed to let it show. And as for Akinar, he'd never known how to appropriately channel his emotions. I do not excuse the crimes committed. Cirrus and Akinar shattered so many lives in far worse ways than Anna's death shattered ours. It's for this reason that I have stood by Atrus's decision and left my sons imprisoned all these years. But I cannot escape my own culpability in this. For when Cirrus and Akinar needed me most, I was too consumed by sorrow to see. I am being torn in two. I am trapped between a mother's love for her children and a woman's loyalty to her husband. I don't know. It is so hard. I watch Atrus and Akinar trying to communicate, and it feels like knife blades ripping through my heart. They don't know how to relate to each other. Akinar speaks only from emotions, and Atrus fears he's made his son a savage. Cannot escape. Only my presence keeps things from fraying. It's easier with Cirrus. They share a love of science, and Cirrus's willingness to discuss advancements he's made ignites a similar excitement in Atrus. Yet even then, Atrus doesn't believe. He's unwilling to trust because he knows what monsters they have been. I must find a way to resolve this. I must break through Atrus's doubts and get him to see what he cannot. It's been a long time since I've written in this journal. I thought perhaps I had lost it, but while repotting plants in my study, I found it behind one of the incubators. It must have fallen there when Atrus reconfigured the generator. No matter, I have it now. Yisha asked me today if Atrus and I are still arguing. She was seated at the patio table, her head bowed over her school books. She was concentrating so hard on tracing a Gorohovati, I don't think she saw my reaction. We have always been careful not to disagree in front of her. I should have realized how insightful she can be. I watched my daughter forming the Dani words so carefully, and I remembered how easy it had been to convince Atrus to start teaching her the art. He never did teach Cirrus or Akinar. He started to. He wrote Jananin specifically for that purpose. But after a while, he feared they would abuse it, so he stopped. He's not worried with Yisha. He sees how curious she is about life, and how full of warmth she can be. It's obvious how much he adores her, as, I think, do Cirrus and Akinar. If there is any hope in this for all of us, it will be through her. I must not let family tensions upset her. Tomorrow I will speak to Atrus about my going to Tay for a few days. Perhaps time away will help me gain perspective and discover what it is I need to do.
Okay. So what we need to do now is head back to the jungle and see if we can't find that journal. Which means I need to remember the way back to the place. Also, can I just say, no wonder all of these worlds are so complicated with puzzles. Look at this. This is their house. This is how they live. They have like an elevator that goes forth and a bridge that like turns to get from the kitchen to the rest of the place, and then also their kid's bedroom. Okay. Where are we going? This way. This way. For a second, I forgot where I was going. And then you.